Welcome to the Midnight Story Club. My grandmother grew up in Point Pleasant in the 1960s. Back then, it was a quiet river town. One main street, a handful of diners, and the Ohio River stretching out like a dark ribbon beyond the trees. Everyone knew everyone, which meant when strange things started happening in 1966, the whole town knew about it almost immediately. My grandma was 16 that year. She lived in a small white house near the edge of town with her parents and her younger brother. Her father worked nights at the chemical plant along the river, and her mother waited tables at a diner that stayed open late for truck drivers. Most evenings, my grandma stayed home alone. She used to say that's when she started feeling it, the strange sensation that someone was watching the town. At first, it was little things. Dogs barking for no reason. Car headlights sweeping across empty roads late at night. Strange lights appearing over the hills. Then, the story started. Teenagers claimed they saw something near the old TNT area outside town. Abandoned bunkers left over from World War II hidden deep in the woods. They described the same thing every time. A tall figure, dark, with enormous wings and glowing red eyes. Most adults dismissed it, just kids trying to scare each other. But the sightings kept coming. Couples driving home late at night would report something flying above their cars. Hunters swore they heard huge wings beating through the trees. Then one night, my grandma saw it too. It was late November, cold enough that the frost began to settle along the rooftops. Her parents were working late, and the house was quiet except for the sound of a radio humming softly in the kitchen. She was sitting at the dining table finishing homework when something strange happened. All the dogs in the neighborhood started barking. Not one or two. All of them. The sound echoed up and down the street. Then suddenly, they all stopped. The silence afterward felt wrong, like the air itself had gone still. A moment later, she heard something outside. A heavy thump right above her. At first, she thought it was a branch falling onto the roof. But then she heard something else. Footsteps. Slow, careful footsteps moving across the shingles overhead. Her heart started pounding. She stood up slowly and turned off the kitchen light. The house went dark. She moved toward the front window and pulled the curtain aside just enough to look outside. The yard was empty. A single street lamp down the road cast a weak yellow glow across the pavement. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then she saw the shadow. Something enormous stood on the roof above the porch. At first, she could only see the outline. A tall shape with huge folded wings rising behind its back. It was bigger than any person. Taller, broader. And then it moved. The creature leaned forward slightly. Two glowing red eyes appeared in the darkness. They were looking directly at the window, looking at her. My grandma said the strangest part wasn't the fear. It was the feeling that the creature knew she was there, like it had been watching the house long before that night. She stood frozen behind the curtain. The creature didn't move. Neither of them did. Seconds stretched into what felt like minutes. Then slowly, silently, the creature unfolded its wings. They were enormous, wider than the house itself. With one powerful movement, it lifted off the roof and disappeared into the night sky. She ran to the front door and opened it. The yard was empty, but she could hear something moving high above the trees. The deep, heavy sounds of wings beating through the darkness. The next morning, the whole town was talking again. More sightings, more reports of strange lights, more people claiming they had seen something flying over the hills. That's when the newspapers started using a new name, the Mothman. For weeks, the sightings continued. People claimed the creature appeared on bridges, rooftops, and along lonely roads late at night. Some said it chased their cars. Others believed it was some kind of omen, a warning. My grandmother tried to forget about it, but then she saw it again. It was December 13th, 2 days before the disaster. She had been walking home from the diner when her mother worked, crossing the river as traffic moved slowly across the bridge. The old silver bridge stretched across the water, its steel frame silhouetted against the dark sky. That's when she noticed something standing on top of the structure. At first, she thought it was a maintenance worker, but the shape was wrong. Too tall, too still. Then the streetlight shifted just enough to reveal the wings. The creature stood at the highest point of the bridge, watching the cars pass beneath it, watching the town, watching the river, and then the eyes turned toward her, the red, glowing eyes. She stopped walking. The creature didn't move. It just stared at her across the distance. For a moment, she felt the strange certainty she had felt weeks earlier, that the creature wasn't watching the bridge. It was watching her. 2 days later, the silver bridge collapse sent cars and people plunging into the icy water below. 46 people died. And after that, the sightings stopped. The creature was never seen in Point Pleasant again. My grandmother refused to drive across bridges for the rest of her life. But years later, when I asked her about that night, she told me something she had never told anyone else. She said when the creature looked at her on the bridge, it didn't seem surprised to see her. It looked like it had been expecting her. And sometimes, late at night, when the river fog rolls in thick and heavy, she still wonders if the creature wasn't warning the town, or if it was simply waiting to see who would survive. Good night, and thank you for listening to the Midnight Story Club. Please subscribe. The stories told on the Midnight Story Club are works of fiction, folklore, or personal accounts submitted by listeners. While some stories may reference real places or events, they are told for entertainment purposes.